So let's move on to 2025 and talk about what NOAA is expecting this season. 13 to 19 named storms, 6 to 10 of those become hurricanes, and 3 to 5 become major hurricanes or Category 3 or higher. You go down this column here, that is an above average season, just like last year. But just like last year and every year, I will always tell you, prepare for the one storm. Let's say NOAA put this forecast out. 7 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and just 1 major hurricane. Well, that's not a bad season at all. That was 1992, and our one storm was Hurricane Andrew, which is why you'll always hear us saying that it only takes one, and it absolutely was true, of course, in 92 and every single year after that. So let's talk about the ingredients, right? The factors of why NOAA's thinking it's going to be an above average season. Neutral conditions in the Pacific, so the waters won't be colder than average or warmer than average. That creates low wind shear in the Atlantic. Wind shear are the strong winds above that can disrupt thunderstorms from coalescing into a tropical system. Well, that's not going to be there in any significant way. Then, of course, you need the fuel. That's the Atlantic sea surface temperatures. They're going to be warm enough, not the records we saw last year, but plenty warm enough. And then, of course, you need the seedlings that come off the West African monsoon. So this would be an El Nino pattern. This is what was happening in 92. This is what you want for less activity. That's not going to be the case at all. In fact, we're going into a neutral phase, and perhaps towards the end of the season, maybe slipping into a bit of La Nina, which causes low wind shear or favorable conditions across the Atlantic. But then you got to make the thunderstorms. A lot of these are in the form of easterly waves, we call them. That's the thunderstorm activity that comes off the African continent and eventually taps into the warm Atlantic waters, and that can in turn, of course, create not just a hurricane, but depending on the water temperature, an intense major hurricane, and rather quickly. That is the fuel, and we're looking at this above average sea surface temperature setup in the Atlantic once again. As I mentioned, no records there, but still plenty warm. Now, that's all the bad news. There is some good news in that, you know, the African dust, the Saharan dust layer that comes off the continent, that can reduce activity. So we're hoping for high concentrations this year. That is always tricky to forecast. But last year we got that big lull that we typically get because the concentrations peak between June and July. So a lot of factors go into the forecast. There are some things that we look at to kind of move down the numbers here. So we're hoping for that.